again on Microsoft Teams. We're going to be looking at the calendar, creating some meetings today, some little tips and tricks there. Unfortunately, Sean had a conflict this morning and I couldn't grab another teammate, so you're going to be just stuck with me today. I'm dressed as if I'm on a cruise to celebrate Halloween a little bit early today, so happy Halloween to those celebrating today, tomorrow. We're excited. We've got a costume contest tomorrow at not at the office, but online virtually. And so we're excited. We get pretty into it every year. So I will be monitoring the questions. So because it's just me, bear with me a little bit, but I will have them up to take a look. So please, as always, ask questions as you go along, and I will continue to monitor those and check those out to make sure that I'm getting back to you guys with the information that you're looking for. Because it's just me, it might be a little bit shorter today, so that might be good for you to just dive back into your workday. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So hopefully you can see my Outlook screen. If you can't, please let me know in the chat. But what I am showing you here is I'm going to show you an easy way to create a Teams meeting right out of your Outlook. And I do prefer this myself because there's a little bit more functionality when creating a invite. So as Teams is, ramping up and adding new features, there's more functionality there, but I wanted to show you how you could do that right from Outlook because most people are a little bit more familiar with Outlook. So if you see in the top left here, there's this new Teams meeting. And instead of clicking a new appointment or new meeting as you normally might, you can just go here and go ahead and click new Teams meeting. And what I love about this is it's going to automatically populate the information needed for that meeting. And then here you can click on meeting options and it'll pull up a web page. Bring it over here. And it'll show you the different options and settings that you can have for organizing your team meeting. Internet's being a little slow today. So with Microsoft Teams, there is some security features. And so you want to make sure that only certain people can get into the meeting. So with that, if you want to have a lobby where you can manually admit or, decline people from coming in case, people sneak in somehow, you can choose that you can allow people in your organization to bypass it. So if they have the, in our case, app managed solution URL, they would automatically just be allowed in. In your admin settings, you can have, trusted organizations. If you're not concerned about it, you can say everyone can bypass, or you can say just you, and then anyone who's joining, you can, admit or decline. And then, this is just some more settings around that. Sometimes you may want to announce when callers join or leaves. Many people, default is thankfully now set to no. It used to be set to yes. But if that is something that you're interested in, you can of course turn it on. The other thing that's great for the control settings here is who can present, meaning who can actually share their screen and take control of the screens and the devices. So if you want it to be everyone, that's fine. Typically, people are looking to only have specific people or only themselves be able to share their screen. And then allow attendees to unmute. So we'll get into the live events a little bit and some of the upcoming features there. But if you're having, a meeting where you're brainstorming or talking about something strategic or important, of course, you want everyone to be able to unmute so that everyone can contribute. But if this is more of a pre-event like it is today, you might want to not allow attendees to unmute. So those are the couple settings right out the gate. And I'll show you how you can dive into those once you're in a meeting too. So just a quick and nice way to start your meeting within Outlook. You can come title it. You can, because it's a Teams meeting, they're going to know that you are looking to, have guests. And so, your most frequented invitees will show up here, but of course you can type in anyone in your organization and just schedule it like another regular meeting. What I love about this is, you know, if you add someone and then you can come up here and look at the scheduling assistant, it'll show you, you know, where you might have similar availability, and you can schedule your meeting that way. And I'll show you how to do that inside Teams too. Alternatively, if you open a new meeting and you're like, oh, I wish I set that as a Teams meeting, no problem, because once you open a blank meeting here, there's that button right here and you can click it and it auto populates it there. So that's how you can do it right out of Outlook and now Teams so that you can see it inside there. So now you should be able to see my Teams screen again. Since I don't have someone else here, if you can't see it, please ping me and let me know so that I can make sure that you guys are getting what you need today. So this is the calendar view inside of Teams. And as you can see, it looks exactly like Outlook. I just have the dark mode setting on, so it's a little different here. If you want to change those settings, you can come and click into your avatar up here and go to your settings. And here are the different themes. Personally, as someone who has sensitive eyes, I just prefer the dark mode, but totally up to the user preference. So here I am looking at our work week, and you can change what that looks like over here on the right-hand side. So I like looking at my week at a glance. I know some of my colleagues prefer just looking at their day-to-day. And so if you want to just look at your day, you can change that feature again right here, just as you can in Outlook. And then if you're interested in having the whole week, maybe you work different days, or you want to know what's going on your weekends, you can, of course, you know, put in the whole week to look at. So I'm going to go back to what I prefer, which is the work week. And you can create a calendar invite right out of Teams. So there's two ways to do this. If you're looking to spontaneously meet right now, you can click this Meet Now button. If you want to schedule a meeting, you would click this New Meeting. You'll notice on the right-hand side here that there's this drop down to schedule a meeting, which is your typical out-of-the-box meeting, or you can schedule a live event. So I'm going to show you the meetings today, but with the live events, I wanted to make you guys aware of is there's a couple new features that are coming out for live events. And so I'm really excited about that because I really want to start using Teams to host some of these webinars and do more live events with you guys. So some of the things that are coming out are they're going to automatically have registration pages created. Right now, I know people that are hosting live events out of Teams are needing to create separate landing pages or having to manually send out calendar invites. And it can be a little bit more of a tedious process versus Zoom, where if you create a webinar, it automatically just generates that registration sign up page, which is nice. However, so that's coming out. And then the other thing that's been important, because Microsoft really is so around compliance and security and really puts that at the forefront of everything they do, there hasn't been necessarily great attendee tracking. You can see how many people attend, but you haven't been able to always see who those people are. And for us, like, we like to follow up with those people and say, hey, like, here's the recording, or did you have any follow-up questions? Is there anything we can help out with? And so they're going to be rolling out a way to do it and stay in compliance too. So I think the attendee will maybe have to opt into it, but that'll be great for those looking for that more detailed reporting. So that's my little spiel to give you the update of what's coming on live events. I'm just personally excited about it. So anyway, we'll get into scheduling a meeting so you guys can see what that looks like. So again, really similar to Outlook here. You can come in and add your title. Just as you did with Outlook, you can come in and add your attendees. So we'll just continue to use Tina as an example. What I love about Outlook here, or sorry, what I love about Teams that Outlook does not do is right now, as you can see, the date, October 29th at 9 a.m. is when this calendar invite is being scheduled for. However, Tina is not available at 9 a.m. And I know that because I normally have a 9 a.m. every day with Tina, except every other Thursday when I'm here with you guys. But it's cool because it automatically shows that Tina's in red, and that means that she's not available. So what's great is it'll tell you suggested times. Tina and I are actually in a lot of meetings in the next 2 days. We're both really jam-packed, so there's actually no suggestions available. But if we are to look at, say, the week of the 9th, or the day of the 9th, it would say, look, these are the times that you and Tina are both available, and you can just go ahead and click it, and look, Tina's now no longer red. It's now updated to 11 a.m. and you guys are good to go. And it'll do that with, you know, all your participants. So if we wanted to include Danielle, look, great, Danielle's available too. So it's really nice when you're scheduling it, especially if you guys are in a remote workforce right now where, you know, you can't just run down the hall and say, hey, are you available at this time? Or so it makes it nice, especially in remote work environments. So again, just as an Outlook, you can make it a recurring meeting or not. I believe that's a semi-new feature, so that's great that we've got that now in Teams. Channels, typically, I don't have a use case for this, but what I'm seeing more organizations do now is utilize breakout channels. And so that's something that Zoom had that Teams didn't have the capability for, which is a newer feature in the last couple months. So if you guys aren't aware of that, go to our YouTube page and find our Office 365 playlist. And you'll find it's in the last week or two, we did one on breakouts, and you can see how that works. But basically, you assign a meeting to a channel, and then when you're in a meeting, you can break out into the different channels, and those are essentially, the channels become those breakout rooms. So we had a question come in about muting the participants automatically upon entry into the meeting. And is that possible? Yes, it is. So you might have joined us a little bit late, which is totally fine. I'm glad you're here. I'm not, you know what, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know how to do it inside Teams, but I'm gonna show you how to do it in Outlook. So if you come into Outlook and you have the new appointment or a new meeting, or I'm just gonna make it easy and click new Teams meeting, there's this meeting options that come up. And once you're live in a meeting, I can show you how to do it within Teams too. But beforehand, if you want to just check off before the box beforehand, you can click on this meeting options, and it's going to open a web page for you that will show you the option where you can mute all attendees. So here, allow attendees to unmute is defaulted to yes, because Teams is typically used for meetings and collaboration. However, we understand, and as Microsoft does too, there are use cases where you don't want anyone else to speak, you just want to present. And so you could check this box here and say no, and you just hit save. And then once you schedule the meeting, you're good to go. So thanks for the question, Giovanni. Just gonna mark that as answered. So back in Teams, again, location, this is generally for like bigger companies where, say, you have different conference rooms or things like that. You could add different locations. So if there are some participants that are, you know, going to be on site and you all want to be in one location, but you still have some remote employees or other headquarters that need to dial in, you know, you can have a location added, and that can be, like I said, different conference rooms or different headquarters, things like that. And then just as you have an Outlook, you can type in your details here. Right now, there isn't a way, so I want to just highlight some of the difference of scheduling between Outlook and Teams, because that comes up a lot. And so in Outlook, you're used to attaching a file by clicking Insert File and then attaching it just as you would in an email or anywhere else. It's a little bit different in inside of Teams, and I'm personally hoping that they change this functionality, because it'll be a little bit more intuitive for users that have used other platforms. But what you can do here is link it to a file or a web page. So if you're using SharePoint, or a lot of document management systems these days have a way to link files rather than just attaching them, you can come here and add the attachment file. Keep in mind that those file settings are going to translate into Teams. So say Tina and I have access to a document in the leadership team that Danielle may not have access to, but I put it in here and Danielle clicks on it, she's going to be prompted to say, hey, you need to request access to this. And then Tina or I will get a message saying, hey, Danielle wants to view this. And depending on what it is, of course, we can say, yeah, that's fine. Or actually, no, I linked the wrong thing. And you can change that. So it's great because if you're using Microsoft, those things carry over into every single application that you're using. Like I said, security is super baked in at every component, and it really shows when you're starting to use these tools simultaneously. So once you do that, you would hit send and it'll show up on your calendar. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to clog up their calendar, but just to show you too, scheduling assistant, just as it was in Outlook, it's here for you. And you can even just click and be like, I actually want to meet later in the day because I want to get my head down in the morning and get through email and stuff. So you can just click and it'll automatically update here for you. But of course you can come over here and click it too. So that's how you create a meeting. I'm going to discard it. And then I want to jump into meeting now so that you guys can see some of the features and functionality in an actual meeting. So I'll mute myself since I'm on Zoom as well. It gets a little tricky when you're in two meeting things at once. So in here, this is what the new meeting looks like. So again, if we go back to settings, you know, clicking your avatar and clicking on settings, you guys want to make sure that you're checking off turn on new meeting experience. This was rolled out over the summer and has a lot of great cool new features. So typically in the past, when you created a meeting, it would be actually inside of Teams. Now, as you can see, it's its own window. So I can move it over here and still navigate through Teams, because typically if I'm meeting with someone, I might need to go into one of these files or these notebooks and find something. And now it's just a lot more of an easier way for me to do it because, like I said, I can move this out and around. And you can do that with chats as well. So if you were going to come over here into a chat and I wanted to, you know, open this up, let's click on this, and then there's this button over here, and you can click it just as you did, it automatically pops out the live meetings, but if you want to pop out a chat, there's that button there, and now as you can see, I can move that around. So just a little bit more freedom inside Teams, which has been great for me. In here, there's another question that just came in, so I'm going to answer it before I dive into some of this stuff. The question was, can you share Teams screen while in a meeting if you need to show something from a different channel? And the answer is absolutely yes. Right now, I don't have anyone on this meeting, so I can't show you how to actually do that. And I apologize because I'm a solo woman today. But if you join us next week or if you email me, I can show you some screenshots on how to do it. But typically, when you have another person in the meeting here, there will be some tools down here, and you can click on an arrow, and it'll pull up all the screens that you have open. And what I like about this is there's a few different options. You can say, I want to share just this PowerPoint. So it will only open the PowerPoint. And even if I pull other things onto that monitor, it will still only show the PowerPoint. So it's cool for like privacy reasons. If you have anything else up on your desktop that you don't want to see, it'll only be that application that you select. Alternatively, like today, if I only selected share my team screen, but then this one popped up, it might not show. Or if I wanted to pull in, you know, I've got my sticky notes of things I want to go over today. I could pull that over if I wanted to show you guys. So it really just depends on what you're looking to do, but absolutely you can share your screen and you can control who can also present as well. So as I showed you in those settings in Outlook, and that'll be a good segue in here to show you these meeting options, is you can click here. So someone was asking, how do we mute everyone, or how can we choose who to present? In this case is right here, allow attendees to unmute. So if you set up the meeting with this default setting on and you're like, wait, I don't want anyone else chatting, you can go here and turn it off. And you can do this at any time and it'll mute people. You can also manually mute people during it as well if you're the host. And then as far as presenting, there's this who can present right here. And you can say everyone, you can say people in your organization. So maybe just people with @managesolution.com and their domain, or, you know, specific people. If it's maybe I'm giving a presentation with Danielle to the rest of the sales team, so we don't want anyone else to be able to present, I could choose specific people, and then I can invite them into the meeting individually and allow them to present. So that's how you would do that. That answers the full question there. The other thing that you can do is apply background effects. And I really like doing this. It's the marketer in me. I like to create different graphics for the team and allow them to use it. It's not going to show up for me because my video is not on. Maybe if I stop my video on Zoom and do my video here. Yep, here we go. So now you guys can see me on Teams. So I can come here, and I just put this one in recently for Halloween. You hit apply, and now you've got the pumpkin background to go with my costume today. I'm all set for Halloween. Some of these come as defaults, so you know you can come and click around. Lots of different fun ones for you guys to play with.